all the sentence. So now we again come back to the topic. We were studying about the first part of the architecture of 3G, that is user equipment. I hope it was I hope it was clear about the IMEI. So this was about the mobile phone, but our user equipment is made up of two things: mobile phone plus the SIM. Mobile phone was having the functions or having the features like power level measurement, transmission, IMEI number. As I told you, IMEI number is very essential or useful because it helps us in tracking. Plus, whenever our mobile SIM we are not getting any perfect network, then the operator catches our IMEI number and starts scanning that what's the problem, that why he or she is facing the network problem. So this is the main use of the mobile phone. Now, what are the features of the SIM? So now what are the features of the SIM? What is a SIM? SIM is subscriber identity module. Basically, it is the identity of a subscriber. What is a subscriber? We all the users are the subscribers. Now, the function of the SIM, the main function of the SIM is that it has a transmitting frequency. Transmitting frequency. The golden area under the SIM, there is a golden colored chip. You all have seen that chip contains the transmitting frequency, and that frequency, it can be anyone, but nowadays you can see that we are having three types of SIM. We are having three types of SIM. Mini SIM, micro SIM, and nano SIM. Plus these SIMs are from all the SIMs are from 2G to 4G. These all the three SIMs are from 2G to 4G, because both the networks, 3G and 4G networks, both the networks are backward compatible. That is, if we are having a 4G SIM or a 3G, suppose we are having a 3G SIM and we are using an 3G internet, but the backward compatibility feature of 3G is that we could make that internet, or we could use 2G internet also. By doing the settings, we have to just go to in the settings and click on the network 2G. Then automatically our SIM would be catching the 2G network, and plus we will be surfing our internet through the 2G network. These are all the things which we normally do, because in emergency or some urgent situations only we switch to 3G network. Basically, we are not having no issue in using the 2G network also. But whenever in case of an emergency, if we want to use fast internet, or if we are in hurry, we switch our network settings from 2G to 3G. But the thing is that we should have a 3G SIM and a 3G recharge. It is not like that if we are having a 2G SIM and plus we are having a 3G enabled phone, but we are using a 2G SIM, and we say that why can't we switch from 2G to 3G? It is not like that. Because this feature is of 3G. This backward compatibility feature is only for third generation network, not for the second generation network. So these are, and plus these sim, plus the sim which these mini, micro and nano sim, you people can see, if you buy a new sim you get all these three variants of the feature, because the transmitting frequency is same. The transmitting frequency for all the networks, or to connect to a network to access its features, it is the same. But the thing is that due to the advancement of the technology, or the advancement of the technology of these mobile phones, we are having these particular categories of the same. So it is very easy for us to it is very easy for the users or the subscribers to use the network, whether he or she can use 4G, 3G or 2G simultaneously at one time. So first feature of the same is transmitting frequency. Now next feature, the next feature of the same is that first one, it was transmitting frequency. Second, ciphering or ciphering. It is just the sound of the ringing, that is the bell. It is because of our sim that we could hear. It is because of our sim that we could hear the ringing sound whenever we call a person. So that ringing sound is called ciphering. Plus our sim is having a number called IMSI, International Mobile Subscriber Identity. IMSI number. It is International Mobile Subscriber Identity. Just like mobile phone is having an international identity, that is IMEI number, our SIM is also having an international identity, that is IMSI number. So plus the IVI number of a particular phone, it is also unique, and plus the IMSI number of a particular SIM or a user is also unique. It is not like that if I am having my phone number, the other person is also having my phone number, because the mobile number or mobile phone, it is always a unique number. I have you people seen that two people are using same mobile phone or same mobile number? It is not possible. So IMSI number. This IMSI number, it is written whenever you see that SIM card where the golden chip is seen. There is a number written on that. It is written in form of 3 lines, because it is a very big number. This That is IMSI number. That number which is written near the golden chip of the SIM, it is called IMSI number, and this IMSI, it is also of 15 digits. It is made up of MNC, MCC plus MSISDN. Now what is this MNC? This is sorry. There is a correction. There is a correction that it is made up of 15 digits, and it is like that. 15 digits, mobile country code, mobile network code plus MSISDN. Mobile country code, it is of 3 digits. This is of 3 digits. This is mobile network code. It is of 3 digits. And this is subscriber, mobile station international subscriber directory number. It is of 10 digits. It is basically a mobile phone number. So 3 plus 2 plus 10 equal to 15. I tell you what is this. MCC is the mobile country code. MNC is the mobile network code, and the last one MSISDN, it is mobile station international subscriber identity number. And this is our basically our mobile phone number. Now, mobile country code. India is having 3 types of mobile country code: 404, 405, 406. Initially, these two are going on. This is not in use. This is not in use for future only. Right now, 404 and 405 are sufficient to cope up the needs or to cope up with the required number of the users we are having. 404 and 405 are sufficient. 406 is kept as for future reference, because in case the number of users or the population of the mobile subscriber increases in the future, then 406 would be definitely in use. Right now, it is kept for future purpose. Only 405 and 404 are working. So this is basically a mobile country code, and it was of 3 digits. You can see that 404, 405 and 406 are of 3 digits. These are of 3 digits. Next was mobile network code. Mobile network code. It is of 2 digits. India is having 22 circles. If you search or if you Google for the MNC of India mobile network code by it's not multinational company, it is mobile network code, and when you Google it, you will see that India is having 22 circles. Basically, its values from it is having 22. Mobile network code is of 22. So India is having 22 circles. Mobile network code, and it is again of 2 digits. 22 circles, and the value is from 00 to 22, making it 2 digit. So each region, when you will be Google, there will be a map displayed on the there will be a picture of a India map, and which will be displaying all the 22 circles or the MNC of the India. And for different operators, it is different. For Airtel, it is different. The picture will be telling you. People all can Google and you can see. Now, next is MSISDN. It is our phone number. It is of 10 digits, but basically if we see it, it is of 12 digits. If we use it is like country code plus mobile station. There is a correction. It is like a phone number. It is made up like country code plus our phone number. It is like country code is of 2 digits. India's country code is 91 plus our phone number. Now, let's take an example of a phone number. Suppose this is a phone number. So it is made up of 10 digits, but there is also the division. It is made up like this is the operator identity. This is the operator identity, like Idea or Voda or BSNL, etc. And this last 5 digits, these are made up of there is a correction that it is divided into 5 digits. 5 digits, 5 digits. These 5 digits, these are the serial number. These are the serial number, that is SN. This serial number can be varied. You all have seen that if we want to purchase a new SIM, we always say that if we can get the fancy number of like 0001 or 001 or 1234. These are the basically the fancy numbers, and basically we are talking about this thing. Whenever we want to buy a SIM and if we want to purchase any fancy number, only this thing can be changed. It is not like that we demand or if we demand or if we say that we can change this. This thing remains fixed. This is fixed by network. And these 5 digits, these are again composed of 3 digits plus 2 digits. It's like three digits. This is the national destination code. This is the national destination code. And this is the operator code. These are the standards fixed by the different network, the different operators working in India. So this is the all main reason behind that. Whenever we purchase a new SIM, the person or the service center always say that it would be activated within 24 hours, because all this type of information is to be gone through the RNC node B and to the core network, so that they could study and they could make a perfect number. It is not a, so this is the main reason that our sim is activated after some period of time. It is not like it is activated that you go and bought a sim and within 2 to 3 minutes it's activated, because this whole information is to be transferred, is to be made, a database of a particular user is to be made. That is why some time period is always kept by the network. So this was all about sim. Plus this was the IMSI number. These are the features of the SIM. There is also one more feature of the SIM is that it also stores the HLR location, HLR database. HLR means the home location register. Home location register. Basically, the home location register is the place to where which belong. If we have bought a, suppose if I have bought a SIM in Chandigarh in Punjab, then my home location register will be Chandigarh, respective to the whichever sector I am belonging. Suppose I am living in sector 35, then my home location register, and I am living in sector number 35 and I am buying a SIM, so my home location register would be sector 35 Chandigarh, Punjab, India. So and that whole database will be stored to that location only. And plus the SIM also stores the temporary number, and that temporary number is called TMSI. That is temporary mobile subscriber identity. This number comes into working whenever we are in roaming, or whenever that I have told you that MNC mobile network mobile country code, mobile network code, that 22 circles. If we are going or moving across that 22 circles, it means that we are in roaming. So that in that case we have been allotted a temporary mobile subscriber identity number called TMSI. It is just and this TMSI, it is just the copy of our database, and it stores the copy of our database in VLR, that is visitor location register. The name itself indicates visitor location register, the place we are visiting, or whenever we are in roaming situation. In that case, the copy of our database, that is if I am moving from one state to another state, suppose I am coming from Punjab to Gujarat, then my phone number will be allotted a temporary mobile subscriber identity, that is TMSI, and my SIM will be carrying it, and that TMSI number will be carrying my copy of the original database, that from where I have come. So that if I have to make any of the calls, in the roaming situation or in roaming case also, then the network comes to know that that this person is from Punjab and he is right now roaming in Gujarat, and so he has to make the calls or use the data or the video calling facility. Otherwise, if I haven't been allotted any TMSI number, I can't make the use of my network. It will be of no use to me. if I haven't been allotted any TMSI. So the TMSI is allotted such that so there the user has to face no problems in case of roaming. So this was all about user equipment. So if there is any doubt, anyone of you can ask me. If there is any doubt in user equipment.
Yes, any query from the centers?
Any query from the centers regarding the user equipment?
Yes, ma'am.
So just now you told us about the phone numbers that being divided into two fields, 5 bits and 5 bits.
Yes.
The
Yes,
first
ma'am.
5 bits were for the operator identity.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we go for the mobile number portability, then how these 5 bits are being handled? How the operator
Okay. I'll tell you, ma'am. In case of MNP, that is mobile number portability. In case of MNP, that is mobile number portability, what is that mobile number portability says that your mobile phone or mobile number remains the same, but your network can be changed. What happens in that, it is like your mobile number remains the same. Suppose I have taken example, this is my mobile phone number, it remains the same, but say I have been using Idea. I switched my phone number to Airtel. This number is now Airtel. What is in mobile number portability? That in whenever my number is ported from one network to another network, there comes a location routing number. Location routing number. Location routing number. This is of 3 digits, and our mobile phone was of 10 digits. Whenever if now initial my earlier my network was Idea, now I've been switched into Airtel. Now the number remains the same. Now if I want to make any phone call such that my phone doesn't go to Idea's network, because now I have changed from Airtel network, what will be that there will be coming a 3-digit LRN, that is location routing number, which will route my call not to the Idea but to the Airtel operator, which will not route my call to the Idea, because I have left the Idea network. Why would Idea still be handling my all the facilities? So this the function of this mobile number portability is that a location routing number, a 3-digit location routing number is added in front of our mobile number whenever we have to perform any facility, like if we have to make any call, then this LRN will come in front. If we want to operate network, then this LRN will come. If we want to make a video call in case of 3G, then this LRN number will come. So this will coming, and our facilities will be provided by our new operator. I hope this is clear now, ma'am. Is this clear, ma'am?
Sir, this LR number, which you have told us, the previous LR
And please forward to the
Can you, ma'am, please come to the forward?
So
Yes,
this
ma'am.
This LRN number, as you have told, consists of 3 bits. So these three
Three
digits are
digit.
the 3 digits. These
Yes,
three
ma'am.
digits are the first 3 digits of the mobile number.
No, ma'am. This is the random number. Just this is a standard set by the. This is a standard set by the network operator. It can be 123, 123. Just a random number.
So when I will leave my, suppose I was an Idea subscriber and I'm leaving now Idea and I'm going to Airtel, then
Okay.
which operator will assign me this LRN number?
Ma'am, your new operator will be assigning so that the all your calls are not going to the earlier network. Because if you, when you have left your earlier network, why would the network be still handling your facilities?
So this will be added on as a header to my previous number. That is what you
Yes,
wanted to say.
yes. This number will be coming in front of your previous mobile phone number. So that this is the routing. The process of the routing is that it routes to the new network.
And the positions will be automatically changed from the home location register of Idea Mobile to now to Airtel Mobile.
Yes, ma'am. Home location will be same. It is just like the documents or the ID proofs which you gave. The address remains the same. The thing is that your network operator changes.
But that information has to be shared with the home location register of the new operator now.
Yes, ma'am.
So that copy will be sent by the Idea only. They will be sending a copy of my database from their home location register to the home
Yeah.
location register of Airtel Mobile now.
Yes, ma'am. The purpose of sending that mobile number portability message is that if you want to leave, the information is shared by the network also, plus by you also by manually handing over your documents to the operator.
And that will be deleted from my old network.
Yes, 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 yes. Because it is of no use to the old network. Why would he be all your handling your all the facilities still when you have left his its network?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. So we were talking about any more query regarding this user equipment from any of the centers?
any query from the center? Yes, beat, byte. Yes, anyone?
So one more query.
Yes, ma'am.
As we have said, the earlier 5 digits tells us the operator identity.
Yes,
Now
ma'am.
that will not be the case because since 97816 was earlier representing an Idea Mobile,
Yes, ma'am.
so now it has been ported to Airtel. So we are not sure if this number is for Idea or for Airtel.
Sorry, ma'am. Could you please repeat the question?
So the previous 5 bits, the earlier 5 bits digits represent the Idea Mobile. It was representing an Idea Mobile because it was a network identity for Idea Mobile.
Yes, ma'am.
We have shifted to Airtel. So
Yes.
now, how can we say that the previous 5 digits represent an operator identity? Because now it's in Airtel and it was operator identity of Idea.
Ma'am, this number is now switched from IDS database to the Airtel's database. So now this number is acquired by the Airtel. So Airtel have fully right to say that this number is now mine.
But now, sir, the concept of operator identity is lost in this, I suppose.
No, ma'am, it will be the operator identity will be coming in this also, because it is that agreements have been made between the different networks regarding when the mobile number portability concept was launched. The agreements have been made that if that one number will be shifted from my network to your network, then there are agreements like they've been paying somewhat amount, they've been saying somewhat amount for sharing their numbers. It is all that. So the network identity or the operator identity, it is changed. It
But
is
as a
not like.
but as a common man, I will not be able to identify whether it's an Idea Mobile or a Airtel Mobile now. That is the
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. A common man can, because we all say that this series, like 9781, this series all we say that it is starting from 97, so it is IDS number. if it is from 8054, it is Vodafone number. But if the someone has, if some operator has changed from or he has used some portability concern, we can't distinguish. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So now next comes the node B.
Next, we go. Yes, I see Excel. हाँ जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
Next comes the node B, that is node BTS. The main functions of the node B is that it firstly, node B is situated between RNC and node B is situated between RNC and user equipment. So it is the intermediate link between user equipment and RNC. That is, it receives signal from the user equipment and transmits its signal to the RNC, radio network controller. Again, the tower or the node B, it is also having the feature of power level measurement. As the user equipment, that is, as our mobile phone was having the feature of power level measurement, that is how much to power, how much of power to receive from the node B when standing close or standing far away. So that feature was also included in mobile phone. Plus, it is this feature or this function, it also this function is also performed by node B, that how much of power it has to deliver to the user who is close to him or who is standing in far away from the tower. So node B is also having the feature of power level measurement, because if we always the higher level of power is being sent to the user equipment, there will be many loss. Plus the power, high level of power or the more number of power it is required only in case when the user is in maximum distant range from the tower, or or if he or she is standing very much far away from the node B. Not if he is standing just in a diameter of 100 meters and and our node B is sending the full power signal, because it would harm, because the if the thing can be performed by just a minimum amount of power, why to waste the high level of power. So power level measurement, it is performed at both the ends, by the user equipment also and by the node B also. Plus the security, it provides security. It provides security. How does it provide security? By encryption and decryption. By encryption and decryption, so that our signal or our data is not attacked, so it is not trapped by the hackers. If they are the hackers are attacking our data, if they want to catch our data, that what we are sending or what we are receiving, so to protect that data, the network or the node B is encrypting or decrypting them. Encrypting to when it is sending from mobile to the RNC, and decryption in the case when the mobile mobile has to receive the signal received from the RNC through the node B. Plus modulation and demodulation. Modulation and demodulation. Modulation, because if we have to send the signal, we require that we have to amplify it or modulate the signal, so that it has to be transmitted to a long distance, because initial our signal is very of small quantity. Our signal is very small. We have to provide it, amplify the signal and modulation, and during and with the help of the modulation techniques like BPSK, QPSK, with the help of these modulation techniques, we could amplify our signal and transmit it to the long distance range to the core networks. And after that, when because that higher amount or amplified signal our mobile cannot receive, again the demodulation is done by the node B or the at the receiver end, so that it could receive the signal and he could perform the actions like video calls, voice calls, or the internet facility, that is data. So these are the features of node B, that is node BTS. Now next comes the RNC. Next comes RNC, that is radio network controller. Radio network controller. Now, what is a RNC? RNC, it is just like BSC, like base station controller in 2G, which performs the mainly the actions which are composed of like HLR, VLR in case, but that was if any area was not having an MSC, and then our BSC could also perform the same actions. But in case of RNC, it performs the mainly three actions to cope up with the voice, video, and data. These are the resources of 3G. Main resources of 3G. We have that the 3G network is dealing with the main three resources, that is voice calling, video calling, and the data. So, and these all the three factors are being dealt by frequency, time, power, and codes, as told earlier when we were studying the features of the comparison of 2G and 3G. Now, these are the resources, and our this network is the radio network, because we are basically working upon the radio spectrum or the radio waves, that 2100 megahertz band of 3G, that is the radio waves or the radio spectrum. So these resources and plus the radio plus the radio waves, so by combining them, there is a body in RNC which handles all its working, that is called RRM, that is radio resource management. Radio resource management. So this is the basically all the working or all the functions which are performed by the RNC, they are governed or they are performed through RRM, that is radio resource management. Now we will be studying how the RRM or the radio resource management performs or handles all the functions of the RNC. So, radio resource management. Firstly, it is of two types, that is user specific and self specific. That is So it handles both the users and as well as the cells. Cells means the node B, means it performs the functions for both node B as well as the user, that is the mobile equipments or the user equipments. So based on this, now user specific, these are also of two types: power control and handover control. And self specific, okay, let's first study about the user specific, then we'll be studying about self specific. So let us first study user specific. So first was user specific function of RRM. User specific. First is power control. Power control. So what was that? We all know that initially the network was in case of 2G. If we come back to 2G, the 2G was launched on both GSM and CDMA, that is code division multiple access. But due to some reasons that CDMA didn't work out so well and our GSM rise, and we all are today still using the GSM network. Now I hope there is very limited number of users left for the CDMA use. So what was the main reason? The main reason was that CDMA was having near and far problem. Near and far problem was that if the user was standing very much nearer to the CDMA BTS, it couldn't transmit the signal. Plus, if the user is standing very far from the BTS, but still in the range of the BTS, still also the user had to face the problem that it could not get the signal from the BTS, and there were many call drops. So this CDMA was having near and far problem. So by looking at this, the 3G network was established. So this 3G network was established by modifying the CDMA. Hence, CDMA was modified into WCDMA, that is wideband code division multiple access. CDMA was modified into WCDMA to let the 3G operate. So basically our 3G is working on WCDMA. You also can check in your mobile phones also. You can also check these things in your mobile phones also. Nowadays, what is that smartphones, if we want to check the network facilities, or if we want to see that whichever network we are using, and if we want to switch from 2G to 3G, and if we manually change the settings, but is that there come 2G, 3G or 4G. But in some smartphones is that there it is written that in some smartphones there is written that if you want to use GSM, if you want to use UMTS or WCDMA, or if you want to use LTE, these are basically they are using the technical terms, but in some cases it is simply written if you want to use 4G, if you want to use 3G, if you want to use 2G. So from if you click on that, if you click on this WCDM, then your phone will be catching only 3G signal and you will be working on the 3G network. So that was the back to the topic. I was telling you that CDMA was having a near and far problem. That is, if the user was standing very near to the tower, then also he couldn't get the signal. If he was standing very far from the tower, though in the range of the tower, in the transmitting range or the range as we have studied in that atoll network, though it was in the range, but still in case of CDMA, it couldn't receive the signal. So that CDMA was modified into WCDMA, and in 2100 megahertz band, we were able to get the higher speed results. When the CDMA was modified into WCDMA, we got the results better than 2G. That is, we were able to do video calling, which was not even possible in 2G. 2G network is not having that direct video calling option. That video calling option over the network, it is possible only in 3G, plus in nowadays in 4G also. So now how this power is controlled, how this power is controlled by the network in case of 3G, it is very simple. How this how power is controlled, it is very easy. There are two options, 0 and 1. If we want to decrease the power, press 0. It is not like we would be pressing, the network will be pressing. Whenever it sees that user is user is receiving great power, or the power not required by it, so the network will be pressing the 0 and will be decreasing the power for the user. And if the network sees that user is receiving very low power, but it expect to but the user is needs very large amount of power, so the network will be pressing the 1 and it will be increasing the power. So this was all about power control in case of user specific. Next is next type of user specific in case of radio resource management. It is handover control. Now handover it is a very important function or very important feature in every network, 2G, 3G, or whether it is 4G, because without handover our network is of no use, because for a person who is roaming from one point to another, one location to another, if the network is not having the handover feature in it, then why would he opt for 3G, 2G, or 4G? No, basically what is handover? Handover is basically, in generally we say handover, from the name it suggests that we are handing over or we are providing a support. So if we technically see in 3G what is a handover? In 3G, handover means transferring a signal from one node B to another node B, or getting a signal from one node B to another node B in case our user is moving from one location to another. That is, handover means if user is moving from one location to another, then it is changing one node B to another node B. Why we are changing one node B to another node B? So that our network, so that suppose if I'm on a phone call and I am moving in my car, so my phone call remains in continuous process such that there is no call drop, such that I remain in call. There is my conversation, it doesn't get interrupted. In such cases, what is being done by the network? It is handover. Handover is being done. That is, the network is handing me over from one node B to another node B, such that my call is not dropped, my conversation is not lost. I am not such that I am not able to such that I am not facing any problems. So network is using this handover, and this handover control is a user specific function performed by RNC under radio resource management. So this was the function of handover control. Now, these were the types of user specific. Now next we'll be studying about the cell specific. That is about the functions of the cell that are being handled by the RNC. That is radio network controller. Cell specific. There are 4 types of functions performed, or there are 4 types under the category of cell specific. We'll be studying one by one. First is code or resource manager. Code or resource manager. Basically, in this, there are some codes that we'll be studying afterwards, after this topic. There are some codes. The thing I told you that the 3G network is basically working on 3 main factors, that is time, frequency, and power plus codes. And in 3G network, there are some codes assigned to the cells and these codes are assigned differently for voice, differently for video, and differently for data. What a code or resource manager do? What a code or resource manager do is that it sees that how much number of codes are required by a how much number of codes are required by a node B. That is, the main function is that is assignment of codes. Assignment of codes. It sees that which node B requires codes, then these codes are assigned by the code or resource manager under the cell specific performed by the radio resource management in the RNC. So basically the main function is assignment of codes. Second, load control. Load control says that what a load control sees, it sees the maximum number of users, or it controls the maximum number of users. It handles the number of users. It controls the maximum number of users. That is how much number of users a single node B can handle. These are all controlled by the load control in the cell specific. So, and accordingly, the users accordingly. After handling the users accordingly, they are differentiated onto their demand. Suppose if 100 users are assessing the network, then suppose from the 100 users, 50 are assessing the network for voice calls, 25 for the video, and 25 for the data calls. So firstly, load control will control the number of users, and accordingly it will differentiate in the different categories. That is, it distinguish the users on their requests or demands. So this is the main functioning of the load control. Next comes third type, that is packet scheduler. Next comes the packet scheduler. Packet scheduler, the function of packet scheduler is that it performs actions in the form of packets. That is, how much amount of data is required, how much amount of data or how much power is required for that amount of requests. Suppose voice, video, and data. How much power is required? So this will be seen by the packet scheduler. That suppose suppose I am making a phone call. So how much amount of power is required for by my 3G SIM so that I could make a phone call? How much power is required for by me so that I could watch an online video or I could do a video call? These are all handled by the packet scheduler, and this packet scheduler, the name from the scheduler indicates that it provides these packets or the amount of power into a span of time. That is, for this minimum amount of time is 200 milliseconds. That is, the uplink and downlink range is uplink and downlink range, or the uplink and downlink interval for providing the packet is 200 millisecond. After 200 millisecond, we are getting the data in the form of packets for using our facilities like voice calling, video calling, or the data facilities. So this is all done by the packet scheduler. Now next comes the admission control. This is the last type of self-specific function, that is admission control. Admission, as from the name suggests, admission means granting the permission. So we are assessing the network, we are using the voice function, we are using the voice calling function, we are using the video calling, we are using the data facility. But for all these things, we need to take permission from the network, and that permission from the network into the node B, it is given by, or it is taken by it is taken under the admission control. So the main function is that it grants permission to the user for performing activities like voice call, video call, and data. So admission control grants permission for all these activities required by a particular user. So these were all the functioning of the radio resource management, which is handled by the RNC, radio network controller. So now next comes the core networks. Firstly, we studied user equipment, then node B, then RNC, and now the last core networks. Core networks. Basically, the main functioning is that it performs paging. Paging means if I say I am calling a specific user, suppose I am calling this XYZ number, then how will my network knew that I am calling this XYZ? So that is performed under paging. Suppose I want to make a call, then it is like that. Firstly, the signal will go through my node B and I will get the access, and then the signal will go to that XYZ number and to the near of that node B, and that node B will scan that whether it is having this XYZ number, and after the scanning the XYZ number will give a response that yes, I am present over here, and that receiver will be, and that receiver or that user will be getting my phone call and will be able to do a telephonic conversation or a video calling as per my demand. So paging, it pages, it scans the particular user from a from a number of users, because I have to call only a specific number. I'm not calling or I'm not interacting with everyone. I just want to make a call with a specific user, and that specific user function is performed by paging feature of the core networks. Plus we are using the postpaid and prepaid networks, and for all this billing, how much the cost or how much the plans or what is whatever the time we have made a call, how much for how much duration we were on a phone call, how much to charge for that phone call, all that billing functions are performed under core networks. Plus it has core network is having main bodies like HLR. HLR, as I told earlier, it is the home location register. It basically consists of the original or the basic or the home location database of a particular user, and it is having the IMSI number. Next, HLR. After HLR, it is also having the TM temporary number, or we can say TMSI, that is VLR or VLR updation. That is if a user is roaming from one circle to another circle, then the all its updation for from old home location to the new location, that is the visitor location, it is all governed by the core networks. So it is all that all comes under the VL. Next, it there is also power level measurement done by computer net core networks. Power level measurement. Power level here, the power level measurement is done regarding the RNCs, because core net RNCs are now being governed by the CN, because CN core networks are the higher or the governing body. So RNC comes under it. So RNC also needs the amount of power to perform actions like user specific and self specific. So all that power level measurement, all that features, all that power level measurements are done by the core networks. Next, the last function was that it it is also having a authentication center, AUC, authentication center. What happens in authentication center is that whenever our SIM is having a, what happens in that SIM contains a key, that is ciphering key or ciphering key, plus the copy of this KC, that is KI, is stored in AUC. Now, whenever a user want to establish a voice call or video call or want to take data permission, what is that? This copy of KC, will generate a random number, and that KI will also generate a random number. This KC, that is ciphering key, this random number will be generated from the user equipment side, because this KC is stored in SIM, and that KI is stored in authentication center. So that KI will generate a random number, and both these random numbers will come across each other, and if these both the random numbers are equal, then a signed response will be generated. If that signed response is equal, it means that KC and KI are equal, and user can perform the voice call or video call or data facility. If that plus if that KC is not equal to KI, that is, if that signed response is not equal, it means that either there is duplicate copy, either someone is having a duplicate copy of KI, or either there can be any problem in our ciphering key, but it is very least chances that the ciphering key is having problem. It is always seen that this case is always seen that when KC is not equal to KI, this case is always seen when somebody is having a duplicate copy. You might have heard about the cloning word. Cloning means making a duplicate copy of our SIM. Some third person or any other person can make a duplicate copy of the SIM, but he will never get to know the KI, that is the authentication key, or the authentication key which the network has stored for our KC, for our SIM. So this is basically a security checkup also, because whenever we have to perform any function like voice call or video call or data facility, our network checks whether this user is having the proper identification, whether the user is genuine or not. So in this case, KC and the signed responses are generated to perform the action, so that user can take the advantage of all the facilities. Next comes the last feature, that is equipment identity register. Equipment identity register. Equipment identity register. What happens in equipment identity register is that we are having three main lists: white list, blacklist, and gray list. As the name says, equipment identity register, this body is related to basically our mobile phones, because equipment identity, that is related to our IMEI number, because that is also International Mobile Equipment Identity, and the name also says equipment identity register. So what's here in that? Firstly, whitelist. Whitelist, it is in this list all the working IMEI numbers, that is all the phones or all the mobile phones which are in working condition, or which are performing, or which are covering a good network, which are catching a good network, they all come under whitelist. All the good working IMEI come under whitelist. What is a blacklist? Blacklist, it comes into use when whenever our phone is stealed. Suppose someone has stolen my mobile phone, and I go to police station and I lodged a FIR against my mobile phone. But what the police officials will do, they always whenever you go to file a FIR against your for your mobile phone, they will always ask to bring your bill or your mobile phone box, because they will be noting down the IMEI number of your mobile phone. And after noting down the FIR, they will go to the network officials. Firstly, they will go to that network for in firstly they will be going to that network of which SIM you were using last. Suppose if your phone was lastly having the Vodafone network, so firstly they will go to the Vodafone network and they will say that keep a look or track this IMEI number. Then they will be going to the other network also, because it is not like that. It is not like that our mobile. It is not like that that the thief would be using that only network. He might have he might have thrown away that SIM cards and might be using. So whenever he puts a SIM into our mobile phone, into my mobile phone, that whether any network SIM he has put in that network will get a response against that IMEI number and will be able to track that mobile phone. So blacklist is related to the stolen mobile phones. Yes. Next, last is the grey list. Grey list contains that IMEI numbers. Suppose from last 10 to 15 minutes, my phone is in idle mode, but I don't know whether it is receiving signal or not. But my network is having a specific check, because after every 480 milliseconds, my mobile phone is sending a measurement report, whether it is in working condition or whether it is in idle mode. So from that measurement report, network comes to know about the signal strength and signal quality of my phone number. Suppose from last 10 to 15 minutes, I am not getting a good signal strength. My signal strength is poor, constant from last 10 to 15 minutes. What my network will do, the network will put my phone number into gray list. What the gray list does, that it keeps a check on the IMEI numbers which are in the gray list and corrects them. And after when the signal is corrected, or when I'm again having a good signal strength from the network, automatically my mobile phone's IMEI number is switched out from the gray list. So gray list checks the IMEI number which are not having good signal strength or other network problems. So this was all about the architecture of 3G. कोड स्किप करवा दें फिर थोड़ा सा एक बार आइडिया देते हैं ओके. So next we'll be studying about the codes. or the WCDMA. WCDMA or codes. We are having two types of codes. Synchronization codes and channelization codes. Both of them are of two types, that is uplink, downlink. Uplink, downlink. Let us now see what the uplink synchronization codes are.
हाँ जी मैम इन्होंने क्लिक किया
Synchronization codes. Uplink and downlink. Uplink synchronization codes are for basically for the users, for user identification, for the identification of a user. There are over 16 million codes assigned to a single node B. So there are over 16 million codes assigned to a single node B for the identification of a user, whether that user is of home location register or whether they are of visitor location register. So there are over 16 million codes. So each node B is having a large amount of codes. So there is no problem from any old user or new user. It network can identify any of them. For user identification plus it is having 16 million codes assigned to a single node B. Now downlink codes or the downlink synchronization codes are for cell identification. For cell identification, that is to denote the cell. This, it is not like that we say that this BTS is of this region, this BTS is of this region. Each BTS is assigned a particular name. Each BTS is assigned a particular name, and these names are assigned as 0 to 511. That is total we are having 512 codes. Total we are having 512 codes, and these are from 0 to 511. These 512 codes, how this is 0 to 511. So how these are made? It is like these total there are 512. These 512 are divided into 88. So 512 codes are divided into 8 codes each. giving us 64 groups. So total we'll be having 64 groups. Like if we are having group 1, it is will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Similarly, group 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Similarly, so on till group number 64. It will be like 511, 510, 509, 508, 507, 506, 505, 504. So accordingly, these groups are divided and each group is containing 8 codes assigned for each of the cell. Next comes the channelization codes. Channelization codes. Again of two types, uplink and downlink. Uplink handles the traffic and signaling. Uplink handles the traffic and signaling of a user. Downlink codes, these codes handles the working or requests for facilities of a same or a different user, like voice, video or data. Same or different users mean different users, we understand that it is like one or many users, they want to use, some want to use voice, some want to use data, some want to use video calling. And same means it is a function of 3G. It is also having a special feature that by using a voice call also we can use the data facility also. It is the special feature of 3G. So these codes handles the working of these codes handles the working of same as well as different users. So this was about the architecture of 3G and the codes.